Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Meister Tarot. And I'd like to acknowledge the Warramai peoples, the traditional ancestors and custodians of the land that we are on. Today, I want to get to, this is my second recording for today, but I'm spacing them out because I've got a head cold and just trying to look after the production side of things. But today I'm finally going to get to the Brazil elections. They're on the 2nd of October and see how they go. Again, it's one of those left versus right, extreme conservative versus extreme moderation left type of tussles that seem to be going on in the world at the moment. And so I'll have a quick look to see how that particular election is going to go, and then I'll move on to who's going to be the new Tory leader, the new Conservative leader. We've got, to be honest, it's about the best of a bad lot, really. Entertainment and spiritual purposes only, entertainment only. They are merely tarot readings where the cards and the spirit guides are telling me of the future with the energies of today. They are not gospel and they can be rewritten. But what we're going to look at, what have we got? Liz Truss and Truss Sunak in the UK elections. But first of all, we'll start with Brazil. So a little bit of background there. We've got, so Bolsonaro a couple of days ago launched his re-election bid. He is the current, is it president, prime minister, whatever they have in Brazil. I'm not 100% sure. He leads a far-right party. He, for practically his entire presidency, has been under allegations of corruptions. The launch he did the other day was sounding very familiar. God, Guns and Family were his election catch cry. He is claiming, even before the election's been held, he's claiming that there's going to be fraud. Remind you of anyone in particular? His opposition, the left leader, is Luiz Lula da Silva. He's a bit of a Biden figure. He's 76 years old, 3 times married, getting a bit long in the tooth there, but he is the left-leaning, fatherly Biden-type figure. He was jailed in 2017 by corruption charges brought on by the Bolsonaro government, but he was then released because it was found that they were false charges and that they could not be proven, and the judge was biased and, you know, all that sort of fun stuff. So I think he served was it 2 or 3 years in jail. He was president of Brazil back in 2003 to 2010, and he did quite a good job. So Lula da Silva is leading by about 20 points. Yes, because people, I think, are just fed up with Bolsonaro. He was a COVID denier. I think less than 20% of Brazilians have been actually vaccinated. The death rate in Brazil is over 550,000, closing in on 600,000 from COVID. He would bully any local authorities that tried to introduce mask mandates and stay at home and keeping your distance, etc. And there was, I believe, allegedly some money had gone missing that was supposed to be for COVID vaccines and equipment, but that is just allegedly. So we'll have a quick look, like I did with Italy, and first of all see how the election's going to go. The election itself, the election fully, I'm really drawn to the fact that he's already, Bolsonaro's already declaring election fraud. So, you know, reminiscent of something on the northern borders there, further north, claiming fraud before it happens, so therefore they can say, I told you so type thing. Bolsonaro appears to have the favour of the army, which is a little bit concerning, because there's already threats of a coup. Excuse me, I'll just take a... It's herbal tea. It's not gin. It's not gin, it's not whiskey, it's herbal tea, peppermint herbal tea. There are already threats of a coup if Bolsonaro loses. So, oh goodness me, we'll see how it goes. It was actually under Lula da Silva, it was a very prosperous country. It has gone downhill a fair bit since then, in that period 03 to 10. He pulled a lot of people out of poverty. Good, they're falling out everywhere, there's too many there. Pulled a lot of people out of poverty, had better equality for the country, for those in the country itself. And the country itself was prosperous. I'm not quite sure how Bolsonaro got in after that. But, I said, I don't know how Bolsonaro got in after that, and this popped out again. I had this a couple of times for Italy. It pops up all the time when it comes to the GOP. This is about winning the fight, sabotage and betrayal, basically, but also abuse of power and winning at all cost. And it is very much about, all these characters on here are on the winning side of this battle, but after the battle was fought, and this figure here, this leadership figure here, because he's the one wearing armour, the others aren't, starts picking up the swords of truth, the other figures on the battlefield throw their swords down in disgust and walk off. So this is what popped out when I was talking about, I don't know how Bolsonaro won. So, yeah, it was a win at all cost. Lies, deception, abuse of power, discussed by some at how it was done, underhandedly. Okay, but tell me about I'm talking about this one's flipped out too. Illusion and delusion, smoke and mirrors, and that's how he had won that election. So, okay, how he won. Okay, so tell me about the Brazil election coming up in October. Tell me about the Brazil election in October. And then I'm going to go for a serious nap. Tell me, after I've done the UK as well, tell me about the Brazil election. Tell me about the Brazil election. Share the thought I just had in the moment. I was just thanking my guides, and I had this image the other night in that twilight zone between wakefulness and sleep, and I was doing my meditation and thanking my guides for the day that I had just had, and I was brought up an image of two figures. There was Meister, who his real name is I believe Angus. He is a Celtic warrior, and he was standing there in this clearing, full battle regalia, leathers, sword, a leather jerkin type thing on a thickened leather, shield on his back, strapped feet and calves, with his beard, looking very, very fierce and powerful. And right next to him was I always forget how to pronounce his name. I'm sure Joy can help me. Anyhow, sorry, I've just gone blank. I'm just seeing a picture of him, but right next to Meister, he was standing there. And he was a First Nations people, dark-skinned, greying hair, a little bit of a beard, greying beard, and he was literally there in his loincloth. He had a kangaroo skin over his shoulders, and he was holding his medicine stick. And he looked, his big wand shaft type thing, and he was standing there on one leg with one leg bent and propped up at the knee level. And he looked just as powerful as Meister, standing side by side, one in full battle regalia and one just in his wisdom and knowledge and dignity, and they both looked incredibly powerful. Anyhow, back onto topic. How is the Brazilian election going to go? Right, so here we have the Chariot, which is usually about moving forward quickly. It doesn't look like it's moving forward very quickly, but it's about grabbing the reins and taking control and steering forward in the direction that you want to go. It can be chaotic, and very fast moving. So I think it's going to be quite a bit of information coming out that'll be a bit head spinning as it moves forward. Okay. Complete and utter downfall of the truth. Okay, I'm wondering whether there's going to be quite some serious election fraud in this. But being literally stabbed in the back by the truth. Base of the reading, a desire to go back to simpler times, just when life was easier. It was about family and friends and community, not God and guns. But there's this desire of the Brazilian people just to go back to a simpler times when life was not so complicated. In the past, we have the exposure of the seedy underbelly. I think this is in regards to Bolsonaro, fully illuminated, but whether it's made a difference to those that support him, because to be honest, those who support Trump don't care that he was a corrupt grifter who took them for a ride and couldn't care less about them. But this is in the past, so I think it's not going to reflect on it at all. Slow, steady, forward progress is what is needed by Lula da Silva. He needs to prove himself to be the economically worthy, but the slow, steady, diligent knight who is there for the health and the finance of the people. He needs to bring his old record back to show how he can improve the future. Immediate future, temperance, rebalancing, a move to moderation. I like this. I think this is leading to the moderate left. Externally, the world is watching, but also it's very much a culmination of an era. This is unity of diversity. And this is just a bringing together. Internally, we have this, again, this is my Biden card, which leads me to believe it'll be Lula da Silva, the calm diplomat. Okay, thank you, Meister. He's telling me that no matter what Bolsonaro throws at him, and there's going to be some rather unpleasant muck that is thrown, he needs to remain this calm, cutting through messenger, diligent, loyal, dependable. And this is the King of Cups who is calm, emotionally stable. So while Bolsonaro is going off the rails, he needs to remain emotionally stable and on message and not get sucked into the gutter fighting that may occur. Hopes and fears. this is the same card in the same place that I had for Italy. There is just hope for this bright future. Just real hope for this joyful future going forward. Okay, we have the outcome of the election. This is worrying. In Italy, this was my the card for the far right, being the smug merchant with his cups all lined up behind him. The Emperor, Queen of Wands, reaping what you sow. Yeah, this worries me. As I'm seeing it at this stage, I'm not saying it's going to be legit, but I'm going to say that at this stage what I'm seeing is the right winning, and Brazil will have to reap what it sows. It'll have to live with the decision it was made, because my way or the highway Emperor, this is a far right person. This, in this particular deck, it is the smug merchant on the right, because he's got all his cups lined up behind him and he's gloating in front of them, whereas in another deck it's of an innkeeper sharing the cups with those and toasting, etc., whereas this one's just hoarding them. This is the lawmakers, the female lawmakers, but she's also confident, inspirational, and I'm thinking that's the what Bolsonaro might put out. But Italy is then going to have, Brazil is then going to have to reap what they sow. Okay. Looking at the bottom of the pack, there was the doling out, money changing hands, but this is, the rich merchant sort of giving a few crumbs off his table. But it is down to the voter, very much about getting out and voting. But we have this, again, we had this with Italy, and we get it often with the US. It can mean moral corruption, which I'm not surprised at, but it is about people feeling disenfranchised, left out in the cold, and it usually is the disabled and the poor, the women, the minorities, those that don't have any choice, being left out in the cold due to moral corruption. Got the Queen of Cups. This is the left, the female on the left, having something quite astounding to bring forward, something to be revealed. But I do see that they are going to find themselves hamstrung by the truth. Okay, the truth itself is not going to. I think he must. He's telling me it's not the truth that is going to hamstring them. It's about trying to get the truth out there, because the truth is usually a harder sell than the fear and disinformation, because disinformation is really difficult to disprove because it doesn't exist. So it can be difficult to disprove disinformation, and it is easier to influence people through fear than from bringing forward positivity in the truth. Human nature being what it is. Okay, like I did with Italy, I'm just going to have a look and see how Lula da Silva goes. Please tell me, how's Lula da Silva going to go in so he leads the left coalition. Left always seems to be a coalition because there's so many ideals, whereas right tends to be, disappointment has dropped out. The right tends to be a tighter group because they really just have fear and at their control. And when I'm talking about the right having fear at their control, they don't have ideals, they don't have progressive opportunities, they don't have policies, they just rely on God, guns and babies, basically, is what they rely on, rather than actually having progressive policies. Okay, tell me, how is Lula da Silva going to go in the Brazilian election? Tell me about Lula da Silva. Lula da Silva, leader of the left, Brazilian election in October. How's he going to go? Oh, yeah, this one's come out again. He's going to find himself hamstrung by the truth, by trying to get the truth out there. How's Lula da Silva? October's a long way off. Thank you. Sorry, shuffling takes a while sometimes. It's about Meister wanting to get the right cards out for it. Okay, have this Page of Pentacles. Okay. The page it's not a huge authority. What the left is bringing forward is the message of wealth and health and prosperity and potential going into the future. It's about the dream of dreaming big and working hard to make it happen. That's the message that the left is bringing out. But it is only a page, which means it's an immature message at this stage. Crossed by the Empress. Not seeing that as Russia in this particular reading. The Empress is more about abundance and prosperity and okay, challenged by. So the message that they're trying to get out, but it is an immature message, is this message of potential prosperity and abundance that could be Brazil's. Base is the Knight of Wands. This is about the messaging coming out, but it's a really fiery, volcanic messaging that they're trying to get out. They're trying to cut through. They're trying to, okay, thank you, Meister. He's trying to cut through this volatile, spewing, toxic messaging in the background. So he's trying to cut through it with his message of hope and truth. In the past, Three of Cups working together, circles of support. So this is good. This is the left coming together in the past. Oh, crowning the reading. What a card. The Sun. Full illumination, joy, hope, crowning the reading. This is what they want to achieve for the sake of Brazil. Immediate future. They're going to have to set up some boundaries. They're going to find themselves under attack, and they're going to have to set up boundaries and not surrender. Not surrender, not get down in the gutter. Externally, I don't know about Brazil's financial position. How is it? I mean, we're all struggling with inflation and the aftermath of COVID, etc. But externally, it looks like Brazil's got this real juggling act going on in regards to both health and wealth. And it is very much a case of what ship do I bring into port out of the two possible options. But yeah, it is very much an economic and health juggling act going on in Brazil at the moment, and, you know, stormy waters, concentrating hard, trying to keep all the plates in the air. Internally, the star of hope. Yes, internally in Brazil is this star of hope, coming back to restoration, respite. Like the rest of the world, it just needs time to take a breather out after all the that's been going on for the last however long, really the last decade. It just needs a breather. So this gives me hope, this star of hope. As I said, it's a whiles off. What are they looking at? 2.5 months till the election itself. Here is this Knight of Pentacles, the hope and fear. This is my reading for how's the left going to go. This is my hope and fear again, but the hope. The slow, steady, diligent, loyal, dependable Knight, bringing forward the messages. See how we go. Okay, outcome. New beginning. Oh, I like that. New beginning. Queen of Wands in for the lawmakers. And going back to a simpler life. Going back to a simpler life. However, next card I turned over is concerning. There's the old, the old devil. The harsh truth being revealed. Right. This is not a set in stone outcome. This is a potential outcome. If the left wins, which looks like they may do, as I said, it's a while off, even though my previous reading was very much leaning to the right. We have this toxic devil energy being exposed by the harsh truth and then being restricted under this new king, this new protective king of pentacles. And here we have the government. There will be some heartbreak and loss and disappointment, but it will be strength, and it will be a fabulous, a strong, powerful financial new chapter for Brazil, as we have this destruction of the old, breaking down of the way things are done so that the new can be rebuilt. And see the crown on top there, the crown that is worn by the emperor is broken down. So I'm getting a bit of a conflicting there in that it still could go either way, but I'm seeing that okay, thank you, Master. He's telling me that devil with the truth coming forward and being exposed is about, so it may appear, so just be aware, it may appear that Bolsonaro wins to start with, but it'll turn, there'll be election fraud that will be exposed. Okay, thank you, Master. Just trying to think how to put that. Okay, what I want to have a look at now is, so just be prepared for that. It's not going to be an easy peasy sweep in. There may be some conflicting. Oh, ow, sorry. Sliced my finger the other day. Yesterday. Day before. I wasn't watching what I was doing. There may be some conflicting. The left is really going to have to really work hard to get its messaging through. They're going to have to be really careful they don't get in the gutter with Bolsonaro and his tactics. And they're going to have to just really be clear on their messaging and keep it simple. Keep it simple, be clear. The outcome may not be immediately apparent due to fraud, to put it simply, but it will, the truth will conquer. The truth will overcome. Okay, moving on. Just do a cut of that card since I was thinking of something else then. Obviously, I'm still chatting about Brazil. I'm going to have a look at, very quickly, I'll use 2 decks. What have we got? Rishi Sunak was what we call the financial minister. He was the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And we have Liz Truss, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, previously the Secretary of Women's Affairs, battling it out for who becomes the next Prime Minister. And I'm not feeling energised by either of them. I think they're just the two best of a bad bunch, to be honest. They really have no policy or direction. Literally, one wants to cut taxes immediately and the other one wants to wait a couple of years before they cut taxes, and that's literally the only difference between them. Apparently the debates have been rather heated with talking over each other. Liz Truss has been complaining that Rishi Sunak is mansplaining on her. It's just all very insipidly seedy. Does that make sense if I say insipidly seedy, insipidly, childishly gutter fighting, whatever, over literally nothing? Okay. What I'm going to do, tell me how Rishi Sunak will go in his bid for UK PM. Rishi Sunak, UK PM. Rishi Sunak for PM. Rishi Sunak for PM. Okay, that's quite a positive for him. Bringing forward the sword of truth and replacing the leader, piercing the leader's crown. He has a plan coming to fruition. This is the unity of diversity, the acceptance of all, bringing together to a culmination, and the Ace of Cups. So with those cards, basically the pack returning to a simpler time, I don't think I need to, I'll read on her anyhow, but that's very much Rishi Sunak is going to, so I don't even know who votes for these Prime Ministers. Do the public vote for them? I thought, like Australia, the party voted for them, but anyhow. Tell me about Liz Truss with her bid for. So that's looking very positive for Sunak. It's not a negative card there at all. In fact, it's 2 new beginnings, both emotionally, relationships-wise, truth-wise, etc., etc. And his plan coming to fruition. So that's looking positive for him. Tell me about Liz Truss for PM. Liz Truss for PM. Liz Truss for PM. I'm not going to say what just sprung to mind is that she is somewhat, I will say it. And I don't mean this as being female myself. This is not a gender thing, but she's coming across as a whinging fishwife is what I was, we'll see. It's not personal opinion. I know nothing about either candidate. Wouldn't even know them if you showed me a picture of them. But tell me about Liz Truss for PM. Liz Truss for PM. Liz Truss for PM. King of Coins, interesting. Is the signal? Oh, okay. Devil energy. Judgment, inevitable ending. Well, I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it as Sunak getting PM. These cards for Liz Truss are not good, and base is out in the cold. I mean, devil energy, judgment, and the 8 of Swords. Okay, time will tell. Thank you for joining me. Take care, look after yourselves. Love to you all, and I shall catch you later. Bye-bye.